I'm going to show you how to needle felt eyes onto your plush animals. Enjoy! Now that our head is stuffed, I'm going to show you how to felt on some eyes using needle felting technique. It's really quite simple and pretty easy to do. It just takes a little bit of time and you can get some really cool effects from it. So I'm just going to give my cow here some green eyes. So what I need for supplies is a needle felting needle, and you need some wool batting. So I'm going to give my cow green eyes, and I also have some black and some white because those will add my details. But I'm going to start with the green. So I'm going to take a portion of green, and it simply rips off. And I place my eyes on my cow about here and here, fairly close together, fairly large. I probably have a little bit too much. I'm just going to place my batting about where I think it should go on my cow's head. And then I'm just going to take my needle and I'm just going to go in ahead and poke at that fabric at the felt right onto my fabric. And you'll see after just a few pokes that the batting's actually starting to stick down to my fabric. So I'm just going to keep at it, shaping my eye as I go. I just give these guys big round eyes. And I'm just going to keep felting it until it gets really secured to my fabric head here. You can choose to use a single needle. I also have, for bigger surface areas, I have a double needle. You can get them with 4. It's really up to you. It's a personal choice as to what you feel like you're comfortable with using. For smaller details, you really do need a single needle, but for bigger surface areas, you can use multiple needles, and it does make it go faster because you have that many more pokes going in. So I'm just going to continue doing that until my green is nice and flat and smooth. Okay, so that first eye has been secured and it's fairly smooth. It's on there nice and tight. I'm going to go ahead and add the second green, and then I add my details all at the end. So I'm going to just take a little bit more of my felt and I'm just going to place it again where I want it and start putting it down and shaping it as I go. If I haven't grabbed enough, then it's really easy to just go ahead and take another piece of felt and just place it where you want it, and you just add that, and there's no seams or anything like that happen, just the nature of the way this material works. I have just a little bit of orange in there I don't want. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and felt this eye till it looks like this one. Okay, now I have 2 big nice green eyes, and I'm going to go ahead and add my details. So the next piece I'm going to add is my pupils, and you just layer it on top of what you've already got down as your base. So I'm going to need my black, and I'm going to need a little bit less because the pupils aren't going to be as big, so that you can still see the green. So I'm just going to take that black and put it down right on top of the green and start felting that on, making sure to make the circle smaller than my outer green circle so that you can still see the green. And you can shape it as you go a little bit. And then I'm just going to keep felting that down until it's nice and flat like the green. So So there I finished that black pupil. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with this eye. And then we will add our little white details that kind of bring the eyes to life. So I should mention that when you are using this needle, it's very important to go straight in and out, because if you bend your needle while you're in the fabric, the needle will snap. They're very brittle, they're very delicate, so it's very important that you go straight in and out rather than trying to bend it at all. They're very, very easy to break, so it's always good to have more than one on hand. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. So now I've got my two green eyes with my two black pupils, and they look like eyes, but they need a little bit of life. And the way we add that is just by adding a touch of white in the eyes. I normally add two little white circles, but you can add one, you can add three. There's lots of different ways to add some expression to your eyes, and different expressions you can make. So what I'm going to do is take just a tiny amount of my white felt, just a really, really small amount, and I'm going to put a little bit of white up in this top corner here of this eye. So I just add that again on top of what I've already got there. And this just kind of animates the eyes a bit, makes them have a little bit more expression, a little bit more life to them. So that doesn't take much. So you can do just another couple minutes on that and that would be done. You can leave it as one. I'm going to add another little dot down here in just a minute. So again, just a small amount of the white felt is needed. And I'm going to put another dot just here. It's really up to your discretion as to where to put your highlights. And you can play around with it and try different spots, and you'll see that it kind of gives the eyes different looks and makes them even look like they're looking in different directions if you do it correctly and use them in different areas. So there's my one eye with my highlights in it, just a little bit more life to them. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other eye and then we'll be done. And there we go. That's how I add eyes to all of my felted animals. You can use any color for the eyes. I've used anything from greens to blues to grays to purples. You could even use red if you wanted. I generally put a couple of highlight dots in. I've done different kinds, but that's how I add my eyes to my animals the needle felted way.